my free advice to any artist today is that the era of being a thoroughbred recording artist is long gone. You have to be a music content creator to be able to survive in this climate, because the discovery and purchase channels have changed.
Hello guys, you're welcome to the Listening Sessions podcast, a show about the music industry, its players, and the game. My name is Obina Agu, music businessman and your host. Guys, thank you so much for joining me again. Listening Sessions podcast season 3. How do we start this? Today, how do we start this? Today's show is very special. No disrespect to my previous guests.
We hailed the previous guests.
We hailed them.
We don't make the show if they don't reach.
Man, my guest today is a music executive by excellence. Somebody who has spent a lot of time in the business and achieved quite a lot in his time here. Please join me welcome the COO of, I would be correct to say, one of Nigeria's strongest, biggest entertainment outfits since we started to do this thing. Please join me welcome Tega Oghenejobo off. You know now. We don't even need to talk.
Thank you.
Of Mavin Records, just in case. Come on, man. I do not expect that you do not know. So,
thank you.
Which kind of F9 be there? How would you know?
Thank you.
Man,
Glad to be on the show, my brother.
Thank you.
When he asked me, I said, okay. I said, I don't know when, but he's on my radar. So,
man,
I'm glad to be out here.
I am honored, man. Thank you so much. Man, we did a poll some time ago, and a lot of the listeners actually said, look, we want to hear this guy. I said, man, not busy man, no, but we go try. So thank you so much, bro,
Thanks
for being here, man.
Willing to hear from me.
Man, Tega, how have you been? What I know it's a lot of things happening, but how have you been, man?
My brother, it's been a journey. It's been a journey, one that has not been without its bumps, its stops and, reverses. And, in all, when you look at how far one has been on the scene, you live or grow with a grateful heart, knowing that you're not special. Is God playing his role in your life? It's the right people that you have aligned yourself with that are playing their role in your life as well to give you what I will call continuous supply of fertilizer. Sometimes you have growth potentials, but there's limited supply of fertilizer. So being able to be in an environment that encourages growth, innovation, and also I think being able to be truthful to oneself, self-awareness has been something that I've really, really admired in myself, that I try to tell more people that, look, it's important to be very self-aware about who you are, what you can do, what you can't do, and what you see yourself doing in the future, and what pathway you need to follow. And someone like me, that 2008 was when I locked in my own form of conviction and energy level, that I said, okay, this is the energy that I have, and these are these areas of my life that this energy can trade so well. And, it's just being able to tell yourself that, okay, XYZ thing can no longer offend me. It's not the person's fault. What does the person know? What is the person's upbringing? So you qualify people already. So when they come, you compartmentalize it, like, okay, you fit in here. So even if you do XYZ thing, it's not your fault. What do you know about this thing? You've never done it before. So they don't have the ability to trigger you. And when I did that process in 2008, I then realized that, okay, I'm somebody that is very critical about commercial value. So anything I'm going to do from here onward, that should be the ringing bell in my head that this thing you're doing, what is the commercial value? And if I can solve what the commercial value is or will be, then I would take anything that comes with it, the pain, the obstacles, the challenges, the glory, anything that comes with this, because I already foresaw that that's a destination I would love to travel on, and it can impact not just myself, other people as well. And I think that 2008, 2009, I really just narrowed it down to 3 things. I'm like, okay, cool. one, I felt, okay, Africa, the GDP, it's not growing as one would like. And what is the role that even creative industries is playing? How can one get into this industry and help people see more value in what we're building? I think the second conviction as well was I felt, leaving uni, doing labor work, people are like, oh, is that a real job? Is there sustainability? It's just, they don't owe you salary. So, all the concerns that well-wishers would ask you. And I'm like, look, guys, I think there's something there and there's cash flow, but is it enough? I don't know. Are we having leakages? I don't know. Are we efficient in revenue generation? I don't know. But somebody has to get in there and ask those questions. And my commission then was I want to work as hard as possible to make it viable for younger people that want to come in, to be proud that, oh, I don't work in a bank, I work in an entertainment company and I have job security, I have career growth, I have career fulfillment. It's what I want to do. It might not be the sexiest job today, but that's what I want to do, and I'm having some sort of fulfillment. And I think lastly would be the creators. I feel like we've not monetized and explored as much as possible our creativity, So those were those three things in '08 that I really just told myself that I don't mind to start learning how these guys over there have done it. Also apply our own local nuance to that kind of growth opportunity. And my brother, it's not been easy, but it's one that I'm extremely, extremely grateful for.
Chinedu, what type of firepower is this? Whoa!
Man said that firepower.
Amazing, man. It's really inspiring hearing you say all these things because true to yourself, as you have started to walk through that path and you have created that ecosystem for a lot of young people. I have known you for many years. In fact, Tega Mavin during the Facebook days was Tega Mohits. That is how long this brother has been on the scene. My first question is, who was Tega Mohits, especially within the confines of that organization?
I think I might not be able to, probably if I installed CCTVs on myself, then I'll probably get a very 360 view on who I would say I was, right? But I would just say a campus guy, friendly, social, had friends, and your cousin is into the record business. So natural order of events, anything that they're doing, you're just pushing it among your community, which today you can caption as maybe street team. So you can say, okay, it's like it was a street team guy. So anyway, there was a party, I bring in the flash drive, the DVDs. I used to do my own mixes then on my laptop, and then I'll click non-stop so that you can't skip the track. Then I'll relay the track in a way that, if you like this other track and you figure this track out, you easily go within the tracks without even skipping. Because you can't skip with those CDs.
Yes.
I think it's 750 MB or so. Or something. one of them things back in the year, So that was it for me. More street team. I used to travel the region, just meeting with other fellow students that were in campus at the time in other schools, or guys that, they're schooling in PH, but they're from Owerri. They are schooling in PH, but they're from Enugu. So, of course, those school breaks are, okay, we'll run and go and see them, plan something in their state. And just basically, it was more promotional than anything. My commercial wings were not really flying for the music industry. I had curiosity because both my parents are bankers. So I was like, does this really make money? Okay, I see that making money, but what is the sustainability strategy to keep generating that revenue? So I would just really say Tega Mohits was just a street team type of person, making sure that we're just in touch with people and just educating people.
You were definitely killing it on social media as well.
Yeah. Exactly. It was the same energy. It was a small community right then. It was not as big as it is now. So everybody knew when everybody used to go to bed, So it was a classic case of, I remember then the infrared phones, you just put it on the side, right? So that you can transfer to the Sonic Ericsson. Mm-hmm. And then you now buy those memory cards that can just do big transfers or USB cards. So it was really fan to fan, peer to peer, team, street team type approach that I had then when it was Tega Mohits.
Wow. So, but Mohits, phenomenal label till tomorrow.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that was synonymous with Mohits, it was hits. And you guys had stacks of those hits. So what was the most unlikely hit of them all from an insider point of view, a song you guys weren't really expecting to be as big, but eventually just took off?
That's a hard one. Oh. That's a hard one. I think conviction again. I always just tell people conviction is critical. You self-assurance, self-awareness. The mentality that era had with the label mates, they just believed, So, and I think in the same vein as I was belief, we like now that you have certain streaming targets, all those targets. So those were not. It was like, oh, I'm dropping my next song. People should rock with it. I would say probably Oliver Twist was one that now became a hallmark of all the generational hits that label put out, because it started from like a dance challenge. Credit to Don Jazzy and the band. I think Wandi was in there, Sid was in there as well. Bankuli was in there in that video, if I remember.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
big shout out Bankuli.
Osha Way worldwide. It was on YouTube then, and it was the Oliver Twist thing, the simple dance, and it just went viral. So I have to give them so much credit, and that song, because it was just I think it was one of those, not as if other African songs have not had international success, but it was just one of those that showed that if you are consistent at doing something, if you knock the door for some time, somebody will get tired and say, okay, open and let these guys come in, So that was a good hit song, because they have a lot of hit songs that did phenomenally well, but that was just one that reminded everybody of the potentials of what we're making.
Wow. So, man, I remember how broken I was when the unfortunate split happened. Were you shocked by the eventual splitting of the Mohits crew? What was this something you knew was coming?
I won't say I knew was coming. And shocked, definitely shocked. Even just as a young member of the team at the time, just you aspiring and asking yourself, what are all the great things these guys have done? Coco Mansion, Coco Mobile, Coco Mattress, Coco Gary, like this, like we've done Echo Hotel concerts back to back, so when you're young, you're naive, you're ignorant, you're like, oh man, we can do so many things, we can take over the world. And that flight is told to go back to the hangar, go back to the ports. That ship that is sailing so high on the sea is told to retreat or go different ways, So it had its shock elements. But for me, like I said, in 2008, there's a lot of things that people might think I'm an old soul or something, but I read so much about people, I watch so much interviews, listen to so much podcasts, I listen to just people tell their stories, and most times things that happen around me are recurring events that I may not have lived, but somebody has lived it, and through their story, I've lived it, and I'm aware that, this is a possibility, this is a odd. Exactly. Just like those that are into betting, right? You get to the game, there's no time to put the other guy at zero. There's always a value there. Because bad as but if you chop 2 red cards, I don't score penalty, I don't win the game, true, right? So I think my threshold for what I call well-managed expectations allowed me handle the shock in the right way.
Man, you obviously did better than me. I remember sitting at a beer parlor with my friend Deep, and we were just quiet. We were just quiet, just drinking. Like, yo, what just happened to us?
I just simply classify it as life and times.
Absolutely. So, what would you say were the things, the key factors or characteristics that made Mohits that super successful brand and band that they were?
I would say first was talent in its well utilized formation. Everybody brought something special to the table. Secondly, I would say tenacity. And I would just say self-belief as well. And one thing I would never take out, I would say, is fan acceptability. Having worked with so many artists, you now understand the dynamics that fans play in your success as an artist, because some people with the best voices are not the ones with the most fans, right? So there's a variable that fans bring, which is saying, I like what you're doing, what you're presenting, I like it, and I want to buy into it. So that was just the kind of fans that Mohit had at the time. Was just so interesting to see across different generations that identified with the music they made and really took it to that top level platform.
And Don Jazzy was Don Jazzy was on fire.
Yeah, no, the talent distribution across the setup was divine. Like you can't find as much words to explain it if you don't use the word divine. It's not something you can rubber stamp or restructure or recreate. Timing was essence. There were just so many things that gave it that vim that the whole world could see from those guys.
So as someone who was there, tell us what was the atmosphere like immediately after the split was made official?
So going by chronological order of event, I was not there. So I was in Enugu.
Okay.
I was serving the government. So I had it through a phone call. I think I flew in maybe like 2 or 3 months after. So I wasn't there in the moment. So
Okay.
I was not like, oh, maybe they did one big meeting and say everybody go on our phone. They tell me say you get a CB, you know. So I wasn't there. And when I came back to Mavin getting ready to be launched. So when I saw the news, I said, oh, okay. So I heard the news in-house via call, then I saw the tweet. So I came after the tweet. After Jazzy's tweet, that's when I came to Lagos. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. Okay, cool. Let's everybody move into formation.
Okay, so the Mohits is split up, and then Mavin Records is born in 2012 with Dr. Sid, The Prince. I'm a big fan of The Prince, man.
Bad guy.
Really, The Prince is someone I feel like we all saw him improve from this guy who you're like, what's he doing, to this guy who you're like, yo, this guy is dope. You know, The Prince
has always been dope.
Constantly.
I felt like people just had their perception of who he was, but the substance did not. It has always been there.
Like people didn't catch up to his greatness early enough.
It has always, from day zero, he's been who he is.
I went from who is this guy to yo, I really like this guy, and a lot of people felt that way. You know, so Mavin Records started the Dr. Sid, The Prince, Wandeko, Tiwa Savage, of course the Supreme Leader himself, all being the original cast. First of all, Tiwa Savage was the only member of the group that wasn't from Mohits. What convinced you guys to sign her up at that critical time?
So again, you have to remember the ranking. You know, like if you're in a company or you're in a movement, you have to understand the ranking of someone like me in that equation, right? So I've always moved from a commercial thought process. So decision wasn't like I was called into and said, okay, this is what we're doing. I made sense of the decision, even though my permission nobody asked me, what do you think? I'm like, oh, don't just like this is what we're doing. So of course she's been a close ally to the house with what's this one? Don't Live Without My Heart during the Mohits era. So I was already familiar with who she was. She did a cameo in Dr. Sid's video Over the Moon. So I was already familiar. So when the business decision was taken, it wasn't one that my views were considered. It was just a case of, oh, this is how I relaunch, and I'm like, oh, it's cool. At least we'll have a first lady. I see how we can use this to make more impact on the industry. And you know, with the ladies, it's been a tough industry side they've been facing. You know, so that time was just a good challenge as well. I saw it as a challenge. Oh, this is good. Let's go in there and do great work. But I'll be lying if I said, I was one key stakeholder that my arguments or my thoughts made any superior reasoning. I was told, I'm like, oh, this is a dope move. Let's go.
Great. So Tega, to show that at that time, to show that the newly formed Mavin label was ready for business, the label released a compilation album called Solar Plexus. I liked the work. I was really so much of a fan of Don Jazzy. I don't think I had what it took to even criticize his work. If it's Don Jazzy, I love it. You know, so but for some reason, some writers or journalists didn't think it was the best, because a lot of people felt like it took little time to put together, like it was hastily put together. You know, so what do you make of that? You know, right now, what is your perspective on that right now?
So this is my view on music. Before I'll go to my thoughts on the project. Music for me it's a relative product. So which means what you might consider good, I might have a very opposite view on that. And both views are allowed. It's like food, right? It's not like a car. Is the car on in or is not on? It's not as binary. So it's relative. And the times that project was released, I would say it was cloudy days. You know, you're coming off the breakup or the split of one of Nigeria or Africa's biggest group. So bodies are still bruised. So them saying hasty, might be hasty in the sense that, oh, I've not finished healing and you're giving me this body of work to consume.
Yeah.
You get where I'm coming from. So
Yeah.
I see where they are coming from. I may not agree with it, but I can relate to where they are coming from the fact that it's a relatable decision. And for us at the time we've always been pro-product. You know, Jazz always says it's product, you know, it's product. Your music would go places your leg won't go. So launching a label is not for logos and websites. You know, it's music has to accompany it. And how we reform ourselves after those releases. Your early days are part of your growth, but they don't fully define you. What you continuously do after your early days in anything, be it sports, be it academics, your early days set you on a path, but it doesn't fully define you. You have to take certain critical steps thereafter to fully form who you want to be. So I'm glad we put out the project. We had moments for it that we're forever grateful for. So I remember I ran into Saturday, was at Jazzy's place over the weekend. And when I was about to post the picture, I'm like, oh, that reminds me, Saturday did a remix to Dr. C's Chocolate then with Ice Prince. I'm like, oh. So that's the song I used on my Instagram. So absolutely admire the project. It came from a very emotional place for the guys that did that project at the time. At least I had very close views on the recording, production, mixing and mastering process because I was in town. And enough respect to everybody that made that project come true, from Obi something on the photo shoots to everything. It was just a time that nobody had scripts on how to recover from that kind of situation. It took a lot of guts to move in that direction. And I think it set us on a path that might have brought us this far.
I totally agree because you mentioned Obi Somton now, and I was going to go to something related to that. I think the branding surrounding that movement was particularly stellar. You know,
we give God the glory.
You know what? How did you guys put all of that together and in record time too? I must say.
For us, is standing out is very important for us. You know, of course, we have songs, music that we try as much as possible to make them stand out. But again, you're playing a genre business whereby people have views on, oh, this sounds like this thing, and that's absolutely correct from their perspective. But we feel like with branding, we can be a little bit more different. We can be a little bit more in control, you know, of what our brand should be. And for us is continuing that DNA of Mavin being a family, like, and just as the meaning, and Mavin is one who's skillful in a particular field. That means that everybody should be skillfully positioned in the field. You know, so you can almost liken it to Professor X and the X-Men, you know, Jazzy being the Professor X, and all of us were mutants with special skills. So that's how I came across. And the brand is always a collective process, shared visions, where do you want to be, what imagery best depicts. There was one we did one New Year, the SMD Oval Office one as well. You know, like White House. So we do a bunch of those, and we ask ourselves that what image at this era depletes who we are, how we're thinking. And that's what brands should be, something that can talk for you when you're not there, right? So I think we've done an incredible job over the years with our branding.
No, you get. I was so excited. Look, why you smiling like that? So, Mavin, well, I can call you that. Tega, with your wealth of experience and even the sheer time that you've spent here, it's not weird that I'm sure a lot of people are poaching you, have poached you, and all of that. So, why have you stayed with Mavin for this long?
First thing I'll say is the sense of family. just like Fast and Furious then. You know, the sense of family. It's a very critical role. It allows me handle everything that comes with what comes, because we know that, okay, we're not just doing this for us, we're doing it for a lot of people that may not be in our business, but they sort of secondarily benefit from when things are doing well and suffer to when things are not doing well. So there's so much reason to stay the course. So that's the first one. Family is a critical element that I felt has built us this far. Another one is the leader. Like I like to always call him Supreme Leader, because
Supreme Leader.
to this date I've not fully understood him. So that's one thing that actually keeps me going. I'm like, where is this man really taking all of us? This journey we're going on. Strong visionary. I mean, I know I'm operationally stubborn, but he's a very strong visionary in terms of, and maybe that's what comes with being a creative. I will never pride myself to be a creative, so I may never enjoy those things that they enjoy, being able to see far beyond today, you know. So I remember early days when I just finished the national service, and I'm like, oh, chief, okay, this Mavin thing that we're doing, what's the ops, what's the goal? It's like, I want to build the biggest entertainment platform out of Africa, like a powerhouse. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I see that's going to really, you know, require a lot, you know, people, resources and everything, but let's use what we have today to start showing people that that's the direction that we are going. And at that point, I felt I had a higher calling from just doing something normal, you know. And another thing I would say as well is the risk appetite. You know, I always say Jazzy is the greatest gambler. You know, most times people come to me and tell me, oh, we're gonna offer you this, gonna offer you that, I want to take you here, take you there. I'm flattered. I appreciate you reaching out to me. What I'm doing here, I'm not done. I don't know when I'll be done. I'm still on course. And when they push me and say, oh, what do you mean? Whatever is happening there, you know, we can recreate it here. I'm like, you guys don't have the appetite for what we're doing. What we're doing is so different from what you told me.
It's crazy. You don't have
From what you told me you're doing, enough respect. That is another approach. But we're approaching it differently. Just like coaching at Ayers or coaching at Dortmund, you know, it's a refinery process, right? So Jazzy doesn't sign TikTok stars. He doesn't sign people that are viral. He takes diamonds in the dirt and refine them. And because in uni I wanted to study mech engine, but they gave me computer science. I've always fancied the idea of building. So him being able to tell me where this person could get to, me being part of the building process, I'm like, yo, we need to see this thing through. So that was something that whenever those people came, I felt that it's not the same environment, it's not the same approach. The approach here is now built off the back of what I would call shared vision. So Jazzy had the lead vision, and he's been able to educate a lot of us that we now feel like, oh, his vision is also our vision, because we see ourselves in the vision, right? So it's what has really kept me going. And as well, I feel this might be a personal trait of myself, not necessarily the environment. I'll say loyalty. Those that know me from when I've been young know that I'm very crew mentality oriented. I like to always be with certain people that share similar ideologies or approach to life. So that loyalty to the idea of the business, the platform, the journey so far, and then with every day you wake up and ask yourself, there must still be something that we're not yet done. You know, we don't celebrate for too long. We always have reminders around us that remind us that there's still so much work to be done. So I still largely feel like, I know when these people hit me up with like, oh, yeah, this guy, yeah, this seasoned executive, I'm like, oh, I'm still a work in progress. I've never even scratched the surface. You don't even have any clue my potentials. You don't even know how I can move differently within the ecosystem. But I've always, you know, respected, because I felt that we must be doing something as a company for these people to try and head on to me or reach out to me. But the project that we're building is still infancy and early days. We still want to do so much great things during the course of our lives, especially with a platform like this that we think might be able to leave people with a blueprint for the future on how to go about their own creative ideas and become creative entrepreneurs.
Wow.
Mama say wow.
Man, yo,
Mama say wow.
it's beautiful, man. So Tega, you were there earlier on when Wandeko left Mavin. You saw Tiwa come in and was there when she left.
Yeah.
You saw Ricardo come in, saw him leave. Is there anything you learned from those departures that you are now deploying to help you run a tighter ship now that you're at the helm?
So I get this question a lot. I get this question a lot, and it's actually very interesting how our industry see the situations, right? And I feel there's a lot of education that still needs to be happening, and I think we've gotten better with handling the education because we were the first consumers of the course. These are not blood oaths to start with. These are not your siblings. These are not in-laws. Even in-laws go through in-law management whereby the husband and the wife are no more. So I feel the see for road greet you. I feel see for road still greet you. You know. So it's a contract. You and I meet. Went back on a journey. We have proceeds to split. We have an agreement that are unique to the various individuals. And the time we come, we had that contract to either trigger a renewal conversation. And in that point, one can say, hey, I've had this great journey with you guys. I want to do my thing. Or I want to go and do something else. And in my books, if Jazz was here, would say something, it's 100% fine. Where I have problems is if the contract is running and then you break the agreement. But if the contract is up, and there's a conversation to be had about renewal, and you're like, hey, good stuff. I think we did some good things. But if you do it in a very great manner that it's considerate to the people that gave you a shot in your early days, absolutely. You're like football. I don't want Henry to go to Barcelona, but it's what it is. He will go to Barcelona, you know. So it's Ashley Cole to Chelsea. It's you might have those moments like, oh, like anything, be it a car that you bought that you have to sell off to somebody. You still come back to your parking. I'm like, what am I kind of be the parko? So why should music industry be different? Just like even a movie set. I'm sure the guys on the Game of Thrones finale, they miss themselves. Because right now they would have been somewhere in one place shooting. But they say church Agbasa go.
You don't
So
finish.
everybody to your thing to his rest. So that's my own well-managed expectation approach that this is a contract. We'll do best business practice where we're with you to avoid no issues or scandals. And an event where you look at us and say you no longer want to be in business with us is well within your rights. You're not doing anything bad. Yes, fans and industry might have views on, but I think, again, people should start getting older, understanding this business that it's not a blood oath and these people are not signed to life agreement. They are at some point meant to expire. What am I even saying? Some people in the world are doing one album deals.
Exactly.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's a real reality that people should, I think, grow up and start living with.
Lovely. You while we were coming up, you said the last time you were here, which is years ago, you had popped in with Ricardo Banks. So how did Mavin discover and sign Ricardo Banks out of the hundreds of requests I'm sure Mavin gets from up-and-coming artists and their handlers?
That was a very interesting journey. So I think Jazzy just put out an email on his page and just said, if you have music, send to this email. He didn't make it look like a signing thing. And people filled entries. My last count was at 5,007 something. Yeah. So I actually listened to all 5,000 of them. 5,000 something. Yeah. Me, Baby Fresh, all teams will listen, we'll break it down, we're going to take it to Baba for him to play. So I started filtering down. It was a very interesting process, right?
Wow.
And then we shortlisted 10 people. I think the first guy came. So it was the same beats. All of them had the same beats. So there was no gimmicking or favorism. Everybody come do your thing. So the first guy came, did this thing, he left. Second guy came, did his thing. And then Ricky came and in just quick succession, he just showed off who he was, his talent. So that now led him to start having boot camps. So because they're like, all team Baby Fresh, like, if this guy's like this, then let's start just making music. No need, the rest we'll figure out something. And just sometimes in life, first impression, so that was just a good first impression, and everybody felt really good about it, and we did it.
Lovely. So what is the main difference between the way Mavin discovered and recruited the likes of Tiwa and Ricardo back then and how it discovers and signs acts today?
So I think it's been more refined. For us, again, we're not really big on if you have public validation for your talent. We're not really big on that. It's really about you as an art. When we meet you, the chemistry, do we like what we're saying? Are you a people's person? Are you punctual? Just the little things that you've learned over the years that, yes, you can have all the talent, but if you come to things late, if your work ethic is not 100, if you don't have any self-assurance of who you are, you don't have vision, we're going to a point where I crack this joke and maybe it's like loamy soil. So if you have good seeds and you plant it here, except somebody's pursuing in your village, it's supposed to grow nicely because we have fertilizers, we have manures, we have everything that is supposed to give you the growth that you desire and that you crave. But again, like I told you, there's a variable that none of us in this room controls, and that variable is industry and fan acceptability for the art. When you put the person in the market square, people can come in, feel the tomatoes and say, okay, you know what? I'll buy it next week. I'm not going to buy it today. That's if your tomatoes is not good. But that person has maybe bought okra, bought something and saying, you know what, today, this stuff that you guys are shading, I'm not interested today. I'll come some other time. So for me, the process now is more or less the same. It's not really changed in my eyes. I would really say we've probably hired more people.
Yeah.
We've created syllabus of the old routine that we now use in guiding this artist through to make sure they follow a certain pathway. And I feel a lot of what we're doing lately, we're now being able to be globally, patiently aggressive. So we know that, what we want is global success, but okay. But this is what we have to do. We have to make sure that you look like someone that can stand out, not just in the local market or in the continental market, but international as well. You are site people. So we're not just now signing for you being able to do a club show in Ibadan or do a performance in Congo. We're like, you can actually even act in a movie in Hollywood. That's the kind of long game that we can see you achieving as an artist. So I would say the ambition has grown from that time. We now have more hands that offer more empathy, to these artists that care for them. Because a lot of us now are doing things that we're not doing before to keep the business running. So I think bringing in more people is something that we've done. Clearly having these people in some of the talent define what success is. Because we can build anything. The question is if we like what we're building. So if you come with your talent, we really try and push it as much as possible to make sure that you have self-awareness of who you are, your narrative as an artist, what you want the world to hear for your music, what kind of commercial value you want for your brand. You can have an art and say, I want to do art gallery only once a year and make 10 million naira versus you want to have an art and say, I want to license this art to Adidas to make me $1 billion. Like, so it's the same art. It's you that choose what type of commercial value. And then people can evaluate, okay, cool. This is the commercial value you bring to the table. If I give this person my resource, would it deliver the same value or more? So then we start having all those, what I call commercial reasoning around the talent opportunity. But in all fairness, I would really say it's really boiled down to us being extremely ambitious for global growth and success. And also the artists being able to be very self-aware of who they are today and who they want to be tomorrow. And then we just take it to our academy pipeline program. And then you just start doing some of the hard things early that make it somewhat easier to deliver when you come to the what you might call arena, like gladiators, so because of how hard you've prepared. And I was talking to a friend and he said there's a phrase the Ghana military uses. He said, I like the way Mavin is operating now. I said, what do you mean? He said, there's a phrase when you're walking to the Ghana Army Training School that is written on the gates. Hard training, easy battles. I'm like, oh, dude, okay, I didn't see it like that before. But the truth is we really train hard. We really, really, respect to the team. I know they'll probably hear this. I appreciate all their, hard work, tenacity around the talent. And it's that divine formation that has increased our success rate as a business.
Awesome, man. You have you mentioned Jazzy and now you even having a huge appetite for risk and being dreamers and everything. And as a result of the lack of this, I have noticed that artist development has become quite unpopular amongst the labels. Nobody wants to do all that stuff. Nobody wants to put in that time. But I know I'm very good account, that is something that Mavin is still very, very big on. So man, shout out to you guys, man.
Shout out to the Mavins. Thank you.
Wow, where do you get that? Why?
Like I said, jazz is the greatest gambler. I'll be honest here. I will not be able to do it by myself. If you gave me 10 billion, I will not even be able to do it. I'll probably advise you to have filling stations and hotels somewhere on the Lekki Ekpe Expressway. I can't do it. If you give me $1 billion to go and sign artists, I will not be able to do it. You need to pair yourself with somebody that's one, a visionary, two, can stomach the pain, the losses. This business we do, so much you first going out there saying who you are, betting on the talent, the artist, and then hoping that the industry will say, oh, I see that you're shouting that you have jollof rice. Okay, let me taste. And then they taste. You know that you've done a good job.
Yeah.
They find it interesting. They call their friends. They take carry spoon, taste, and the fans do those good work for you. And then there are days that you would come with your fried rice, spring roll, and everything, and they're like, I'm just having beans and plantain this period. There's nothing wrong with your rice. Just leave me for now. I'm handling my swallow with my swallow. And you've cooked your rice. Imagine throwing a party and you cook rice for 500 people and only 10 people showed up. So things are going to go to ruin. And most times our business is human resources, emotions, and money. So if you're not a great gambler, a risk taker, you might not be able to do what Don Jazzy and the team are doing.
I congratulations on Ayra Starr's album.
Thank you.
I really think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I think it's a fine start for her career. A stellar debut.
Yeah.
My favorite song on that album is Human Being.
Lonely.
Lonely. Yeah. So how long did it take to develop her? Or how long did it take for her to be ready?
I would say probably a year plus. Jazzy and them started doing some things early because we have a creative place in Lekki. So started doing some things early with the NR team. And I think we on commercial side, I think we'll probably go involved maybe 3 or 4 months after. That's when we started like, branding, marketing, this, that. What is
wow.
that? Yeah, but they started doing some early things. But my first encounter with her, I just felt that this was a celestial being. I just felt like this was somebody that just had to drop from the skies. Like, this talent tree is not normal. This thing I'm hearing. Because, our business, I'm sure you guys here get the same. We hear a lot of music every day. Trust me. When I tell people that, that's when we'll be radio station. From our Twitter DM to LinkedIn.
Everywhere.
To
LinkedIn.
Facebook. To WhatsApp. To Instagram.
To family, friends, linking.
And somebody go say, in be cleaner, yes, Baba no verse, Baba say, I noticed say you did with those people and just come on. I say, but the people don't go. Now, mole mirror, man.
To ex's brother.
Ex cousin, friend, sister, new boyfriend. I've had one crazy incident. Somebody just called my phone and said, hey, good morning. He said, please don't cut. Let me sing for you.
Oh.
I'm hearing 100 million naira cost. You have sweet voice, but what I'm hearing is the finances that's going to refine. Like crude oil. Can anybody do anything with free crude oil with that money?
Not.
You found crude oil, okay, drink it now. Or put it in your car. You need to refine it. So people never think of the refining part, and that's something that I have to give so much kudos to the team and the management of the business that were big on refining. Jazzy and the NR guys, they do their thing in spotting these people, and then they educate the rest of us that this is who we found and this is how we should deliberately refine the talent. So with Ayra, it's the same model.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Man. So what is the view of the music industry like from where you are seated as CEO of Mavin Global? Do you see even greater growth, or have we peaked?
No, peak? Oh, no, just like hip hop in 95. Where would they go? We just showed up. We never even bath said. They just break. No, very early days. Very extremely early days.
Yo, this is good news, man.
I'm telling you, from the things I'm saying, some of the conversations I'm having, some rooms I'm entering, some of the feedback that are coming back to me, it's just extremely what you would consider early days. And fact being that, and this is my view, so I will tell you my view.
Yeah.
We've never been short of talent. as a people, Africans were creative people. We've been short of two very critical things that are needed to scale anything and derive commercial value from that same thing. One is humans. Two is finance. So let me talk about humans. That's something I'm extremely passionate about. Really and truly ask yourself, how many people need to work day to day for you to deliver a return on an artist? Because you have to see an artist like I said, crude or like stocks. I signed you at $5 per stock. My goal is, I know that you're going to leave me at so time, so it's in my best interest for you to get the most stock value. So what you build A&R teams around that person, you build branding, you build marketing, you build digital people that are very, expertise, you build proper road management, because sometimes poor road management representation of your talent is bad for business. The artists get somewhere, don't come there on time, they rush or don't run up and down, not getting flights on time. And then people mistake that, yes, artist manager can double as roadie, but artist manager is the general business of the artist. The road management team and make sure that flight time, hotel keys, everything well done. Managers can be in a big presentation with a telco for $100 million conversation while they're trying to do something quickly in a way. So that dynamics, if you see artists as that type of potential, now come to the point where we are now with the music. So I've given you a lot of local context. We're not getting to a point where our talents are now having multi-territory relevance. So the artists you signed in Nigeria is not only relevant in Nigeria, they're also relevant in Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Tanzania, Kenya, South Africa, UK, Canada, US, France, Netherlands, Dubai, China, India. You look at it, there's so much data for us to consume that we never had before. Alaba didn't give us any data. We didn't know who was buying what. So from socials to streaming data, if you cross-pollinate those data, you're like, Jesus, what am I looking at? There's a gold mine to mine here. And then you start bringing in people. Now, bringing those people, traveling to those countries, having those meetings, finding partners that identify with your dream, there's Naira and Kobo involved. So that nice early green growth I'm seeing, where I'm hearing that there's some new monies in town. Some people are saying, okay, I don't want to work in the bank anymore. I want to go and apply something in music industry. Some people are not knowing that, okay, maybe I might not just only be an artist manager. Maybe I can actually be a great marketing manager. Maybe I can actually be a great publicist. Maybe I can actually be a great distributor.
Yeah.
People are not finding other skills within themselves that is not just couched towards, artist manager, artist, the portfolios of work stream within our industry and titles is broadening out. And for me, I know it's very early days. And with those new monies beginning to come in, because now there's data, so people can say, okay, you know what? Moving like this, I can bet $100,000. I can bet $500K. I can bet $5 million. That sign is beginning to come. So we're going to make a whole lot of mistakes. And I think that's what even gives me so much joy, knowing that for the next maybe 5 to 10 years, we're going to make a lot of extreme mistakes. But what I will employ everybody to do that is playing one role or the other within the ecosystem is to learn fast. Because it's still early days. Don't try and burn any bridge. Don't try and do anything drastic right now. I'm seeing a lot of Russell Simmons around me. I'm seeing a lot of Jimmy Irvins around. I'm seeing people that I know that, if they stay this course in the next 5 to 10 years, they'll be doing very iconic things within the landscape. So the potential is there, and it's very early days.
That was Tega, the motivational speaker. Did Daddy G.O.? I felt me levitate briefly, like say, yo, better days.
What we're doing, scanning through information, talking about these things, it's going to help somebody.
Definitely.
20 years, 10 years from now, somebody say, I listen to this podcast. So you creating time doing this, me creating time doing this, coming out here, it's part of that thing I saw, whereby we're able to share what we've learned. We're able to say, look, try this. I know sometimes for me it's very hard to try because the boss that we have and the way we work, you can almost liken us to a mad scientist, because what we're doing, early days might not make sense to you. Like, why are these guys doing this? Why are they following this approach? So most times we don't know how to share, because the last thing we don't want to do is come out with a disclaimer that says, don't try this at home. So this is what we're doing, if you go and mix things in the kitchen now, your face burns. You know what I'm saying? But they said that's what they are doing. So most times when our face gets burnt, people don't know. Because we believe that it's important to leave a formula than a thesis. Some point in a hurry to leave a hypothesis that, but we were like, oh, maybe we can spend some more time, not just rush to all these conferences and all these things, and really ask ourselves, what do we know about our business? How long? And as we get close to our 10th anniversary next year, there's a lot of thanks, my brother. There's a lot of there's a lot of, I would say, comfort, insights, ambition, knowing what we know for the last 10 years. And someone that my career has spanned beyond that from Mohits to now, there's just that thing that you feel in your system that, okay, I think we're doing some things right. There's some mistakes we're no longer making. Almost like football, they'll say making schoolboy error. You're like, oh, we're no longer making schoolboy error. We'll bring people in. We're able to indoctrinate them into what we're doing. And in little or no time, they're already acclimatized to how we work. You're like, okay, I think we're building something here.
Wow. Man, you have given kudos to your incredible team. Some of them I know, Shegwa Akonde is immensely brilliant. Tochi, that's a genius, man. And plenty other people. So how challenging has it been hiring staff for Mavin, considering that the talent pool is probably not as deep as that of more established industries like, say, banking?
And my brother's been, if anybody will ask me like I said, I'm not a creative person. So I no go talk, say, finding artists. The artists, it's for me, like I mentioned earlier, it's the team behind the artist. The right team can take your artist from 10x to 40x. If the formation, just like football, those that follow football, look at Abramovich and Tuchel, the guy for Chelsea. Season was going crazy. Brought a guy in, got to a couple finals and won the Champions League mid-season. It's just because then team comes with mindset and mentality. So having the right mind, because you need different things. You need people that are very emotional. You need people that are very data-centric.
Yeah.
You need people that are very instinctive. You need a fine balance for your vision to come to life, right? And looking at the pool, like you mentioned, is very limited. And most times, for people like us that are not your traditional record label, until you work for us, you might have no proper clue of what is required of you to excel in the job description. So you want you to read it and then say, okay, I'm coming in. And then you come in, I'm going for the interview and start asking you questions. I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I thought we were just snapping selfies here with the artists. I didn't know it's a real thing that we're doing, So when that level of accountability befalls you, you're owning your post, you're managing your budget, you're accountable to your performance, it can be tough because most of the people we hire, they've not worked anywhere before. They're very young people. And I respect them, because it's even a bold choice to even walk that path anyway, right? But it's been hard finding people that, especially us that were getting to a point where we then start figuring out within our business who should be senior people. So, because one thing to be with us for maybe 4 or 5 years, and we're like, okay, has this person developed himself across that 4 or 5 years to attain a point where they can take a more senior responsibility? So you start looking within your workforce, your team, to say, okay, who is stepping up in the right formation that you can say, this floor in the skyscraper you can manage. Because what people don't understand is that as the years go by, the ambition of our business increases and new opportunities are created, but people have to show that sign. And knowing that the pool is not big, for us, it's been a challenge because we now have to spend so much time training what some might call hybrids. So we spend so much time knowledge sharing because almost times they don't come with their own. So we take them through like almost our brain library and say, okay, this is what we know, this is what we don't know, and hope that the person would catch on nicely. And it was one of the main reasons I started with Jazz to say, what, let's launch Mavin Future 5, so that from the younger generation, we can start having a sense of those that fits what we're doing. It fits, and respect to GT as well. Is doing some tough things. Training these people, but
shout out hard. GT.
Yeah, GT, we see you. Maximum respect. It's been hard finding these people, and then again training them and letting them know that it's a work environment, and especially when people like us that interface with a lot of professionals from other sectors in the country, letting your guys know that yes, we're Silicon Valley style, but your dressing should not define your professionalism. You want to do something on time, do it on time. You want to respond to emails, you want to be on point, come to work early. It's not yeah. Like you say because you did dress relax or business casual doesn't mean that you cannot have the same professionalism as a doctor. You know, so that's what for me, that's one thing that I'm really trying to educate these guys that you are an engineer in music.
You're a serious
You're
professional.
A serious professional. There's no, don't say because the industry be like say we did it for nights with the people when they smoke, they drink. It can make you you know. So but yeah, we hope. Of course, we're about to announce the first batch of the main Future 5, so we're wishing them all the best. Hopefully, they can grab a few things right there with us and improve themselves. And in the future, we'll see if they can come back as full-time employees.
Man, you guys, it's like every question you just wow me. Well, that's why you're here. Thank you so much, man. So these days we have different types of companies specializing on one or more of the tasks that used to be performed by labels, e.g. distribution, promotions, marketing. Lots of acts now have home studios for recording, you know, so and there are even companies who say they offer label services but aren't quite labels, you know. So with all this, wouldn't you say homegrown labels are a dying breed?
So let me, I will explain something here. My view, what we're building, what I see. So it comes in 3 layers. My view first is that people need to take out the titles first, right? What opportunity an artist unlock when they do business with a label is an investment opportunity. So let's leave that thing that we think we know. Oh, this one's label, this one's artist. No, you have an idea, you have a patent, you have a creativity. I can sing. The world needs to hear me. I can dance. The world needs to see me dance. But you can't do it by yourself. So you go to somebody whose business is professionalized around working with people like you, funding you guys, and monetizing you, right? So there will be forever a need for that kind of thinking. It's just like saying, oh, people stop taking money from their uncle to start business. That is never going to stop. We're not going to be taking loan in the world. See, today, if you go on Android app like this in the Play Store, this one loan, that one loan, take loan today. Don't worry. Sometimes they're even calling people now to say half. You don't need to bring documents. All that 48 hours, they're going to approve your loan. You know, so that need for people that believe, that are visionaries, that have dreamers, that have limited resource, they will always yearn for an opportunity to be able to have somebody share the risk and also the reward in their creativity, patent, ideas, or whatever, right? So, like I said, let me just want to put that on the side. Now, this is not because I'm in this scene or I'm playing at this level I'm playing. I have my challenges I have with the majors or the labels. I feel these guys don't get a lot of credit. And I would say why? Because they're taking what people might call soft risk, but actually that soft risk is at scale. Because truth be told, well, throw me a number. How many artists do you think is signed to UMG all over the world?
Worldwide. Woo.
1,000, 2,000?
I'd say 2,000.
2,000. And what do you think is the success rate? Like, how many of them are profitable, are paying back the advances, returning money?
Say 5 to 10%.
5 to 10%, right? So it's not even an easy business, right? How many of the label bosses at Sony or One have you seen on Forbes list?
Not many.
But the artist is on Forbes list now. The person that they signed is on Forbes list. But the owner of the company is not on Forbes list. So what does that tell you about the industry? That it's not a high growth. It's not like your Facebook or your Uber, or it's a very creative, risky process that those guys have done over the years at this level. And my last thing I want to talk about is that some of your favorite artists on your Apple, your Spotify, your YouTube are signed by these guys, which means they must be doing something right. Like I said, I have my own personal perspective on some things that they're doing, but let's call a spade a spade. Some of the artists that people like are signed by these guys, right? So that means it's not easy to win. I mean that they're doing something well. Now, let me now come to what we are doing. We're not a traditional label. We would likely love to see ourselves as a platform that collaborates with artists with the resources that we have, be it finance, humans, network, leverage, whatever, to get the most potential value that can be derived from that relationship and scale, right? So we scale the platform, we scale the artist. So whenever you meet us, we're on the path, we're on the growth path. You join us, we'll work together, we go. So we know the label, and this would be a case because the founder of our business is a creative. So he's always pro-creatives, artist-friendly agreements. His ideology, he doesn't want to do anything. He's done, his approach to what we're doing. So when we call us label, like, okay, that's part of what we do. But we rather like to see ourselves as a platform. Like we said, X-Men, Professor X, where you come into our home, what we're doing, you come into an equation, you come into a system that can deliver exponential growth for yourself as an artist. So I don't think that what we're doing, especially with the DNA of our founder, which is to find diamonds in the dirt and refine them and scale them, I don't think that thing we're doing would expire. I think we still want to do it. And we've met with a lot of young talents that value what we do. So I don't see it going anywhere. There's going to be a lot of businesses built out of all of these things, like you mentioned, but we still know what we know. We're still seeing what we're seeing. So I don't think we are getting more players. But I'm not saying that old players are dying. That would be, like I said, it's still early, so I don't know the fate of a lot of us. But I just know from where I sit today, different people bring different value to the market square, and those people that come to the market square knowing what they come to buy, be it Shaki or Okra or Bomo, they go for what they want. Some people want to be signed to a major, some want to do it by themselves, some want to do JVs, whatever they want to do. The market is getting more robust that it can offer buffet for the talent that knows what exactly they want.
Wow. Talking about this type of collaboration you just talked about and success. Paul, talented artist by any measure, signed on to Mavin.
Shout out to the leader of the revival.
Big shout out, bro. Big shout out. So I listened to his podcast with Donna Wan. Paul is just incredible.
No, that podcast. I talk to Paul a lot, but that podcast, it was just good to hear him talk to somebody else that was not me. And it's the consistency, so I really respect that.
Wow. So he was signed on to the label 2017, I think. Yeah. But didn't quite hit his stride until his fated single "Know You" released in 2020. And since then he has been on an unbelievable run, So I have two questions. First, why was he still on the Mavin roster even after 3 years of less than stellar outcome?
Like again, it goes back to Don Jazzy being the greatest gambler, If you're playing the casino and you still have money, are you rushing to leave? You're not rushing to leave. You know why you left your house now. So with Paul, Jazzy had a mission. People have felt, and we hear this a lot. People feel like, Mavin is not hotel, Mohits is not hotel. I'm like, do you guys know the history of Nigerian music by any chance? Like, do you know where Nigerian music is coming from? When there were those guys that the band on Don Jazzy met, they were alternative to what was going on. That's what I want to believe it is. Maybe they have a lingo called hotel, but in my mind, they mean alternative music. So we've never always been the mainstream guys. It's just that, like I try to explain to every artist, that it's okay to have niche artistry, but you should go for mainstream success. So it's okay for your artistry to be niche, but your mindset should be, when you look at a player like Van Dijk, he's a defender. He should not move like he wants to be a player of the season. But the way he defends at Liverpool, you will tell that even those that are scoring goal knows that if we don't get Van Dijk, we'll lose matches. You get? So it's a mentality thing. It's not about the genre you choose to get into the room with. So with us and Paul, we've signed so many things. We're stubborn. We want to try something new. And of course, he's undeniably talented. So what is there not to do? And people are like, but maybe now mainstream and they do now tumba, that's what they do now. Why not go chukan for rap? This is a thing that hook on be. We say, hook us. We're just finding that the way we're doing it before, maybe it's not the right way. So like Michael Faraday and finding electricity. Sometimes you have to do something a lot of times and find out, okay, you know what? This is not the right way to approach it. I've learned not to do it again like this. Let me try this other way. But post talent is there for everybody to see It has taken them time, and like I mentioned earlier, we understand. Experience have not made us say, you know what, that style day. You launch someone, and the industry is like saying, this is not the time I want to consume what you're selling. It's just like Netflix. I try to explain to artists, if you go on Netflix, do you see how many movies, series Netflix is flashing in front of you? But you just scroll past. How many people are behind an artist on a daily? Maybe average 8. How many people make a movie?
A lot of people.
Have you seen the credits when it ends? But you just scroll past.
All that effort.
Yeah, all that effort. You just like, oh, I'm looking for something that has action. This horror thing, I don't know if my hand is inside. But a team of people sat down and felt, this is the story we want to tell. And for us at Mavin, our team felt Post Story is a story that we want to be part of. And whatever challenges come with that, we signed up for it. It's just like being a policeman and say you're not anticipating bullet. You could have worked as a firefighter now. You get, so we chose what we chose. We chose the path that we chose. And all the challenges that came with it was also school fees for us because we learned in that process. But we're glad that a lot of our people in the scene are beginning to say, oh, this guy's been dope since, so maybe nice one, Paul, nice one. You guys are up to something.
Before I go to the second side of the question, I would like you to just highlight something you said again. Let's visually frame it. You said niche
artistry, mainstream success.
Whoa.
Yeah. Your gift can be rare, but your money should be the most. It's a gift for a reason. Look at Ronaldo. Look at Lionel Messi. Look at Cannavaro. Look at these guys. I like to use football a lot to explain creativity because sometimes it's one industry that has structurized its creative process and its commercial value. So if you play in anything, your utmost goal, if you sign up for the Champions League, is it not the final you're going for? If you start the Premier League season, is it not? So if you come into a music industry and you came in as a singer or a producer or a DJ or a songwriter, that's what God gave you. That niche, that thing that is rare to you is your gift, right? But where your mind should be is, how do I get the most from this? How do I get everybody to recognize this gift? That should be what you and your team is thinking. Now you might find out that because of the gift you have, your process will take 20 years. Somebody will take 15. Somebody will take 2 days. Somebody will take 10 days. So you not accept your process. Because something in the industry that I've seen that's very common is people chat about destination a lot, but don't anticipate routes. So you know.
Whoa.
You get. I want to be. Okay, cool. You one day here, you won't run enter this P. But what routes will take you there? If you choose to go with Okada, you know that if rain falls, it will beat you. So you have to anticipate that if rain falls, this route I'm going on, I'm using a bike. If you choose to do bus, which is that at the bus stop, you have to wait until the bus is full. If you choose to go with your personal car, you have to make sure that you have fuel. So different approach, different checkpoints in your head. You can also go with a commercial airline, or go with a private jet, or go with a power bike, or go with a Ferrari. If you're going with a Rolls Royce, you need to get military escort or police escort because now you're no longer on a road, you are moving money.
To kidnap.
Yeah. So different.
Wow.
It's the same Beanie everybody's going. But in that Beanie, you have to ask yourself, what is the best route? Which is almost what I say, best route, best formation. Because for each formation has its pros and cons. But sometimes we're too wishful. So we like to wish away the cons. No, I don't want to make it be say I think bad thing.
It's not my portion.
It's not my portion. Whose portion is it then? You get. So that's the coldest reality about the business. You have to anticipate the challenge and then prepare for it. And I think for us is playing a major part in being steadfast in who he is, his identity, what he wants for himself. I think that just made it easy for us to stay the course, because he's so self-assured. Like I mentioned earlier, having self-assured talent, people that know their artistry A to Z, it makes the pain easier.
So what changed? What did Mavin do to bring about this welcome successful run Po is having?
I would say for what we did, we stayed the course. So we didn't park the car, we didn't reverse, we just stayed the course because it's a destination. So we stayed the roads. maybe at some points we got more fuel, which I might call maybe more people to come on board the team or more finance, but we stayed. It's like building a house. People are having to say they are fixing window fittings, done the paint. On my house, done the fine. I was in a house that they built here before, but at some point, it was an uncompleted building. Yes, so that was more thought. So it's staying the cost, executing your plan to the last T. So that's what we did. We did not give up. I think there's a famous Jay-Z thing when somebody asked him, he said was not giving up. Something about not giving up.
The genius thing that we did,
yes, was that not, we yeah. So for us, it was staying the course, and I think I have to give the industry some kudos here as also being patient with him as well. You know, like I told you, your talent will face different reception. Some is the hooray, some is the huh. You know, so them still being in the room, because some artists I feel have dropped greater music now in their career, but there's no audience to verify it or rate it. So the industry, the fans, the lifeline guys we pull, stay in the cars with him as well. Continuously pressing play. If they didn't press play on Know You, they won't know it was dope. If they didn't press play on Feeling, they won't know it was dope. So them still paying some of attention, not the attention that we want, I'll be selfish, but them still paying attention to what he was doing and what we're doing with him has led us to this place that we are right now.
Lovely. So just over a year ago, Mavin announced a partnership with Sync Floor, the commercial music marketplace for creatives who are looking to license music for their projects. How well has the Mavin catalog fared on the Sync Floor platform?
So I didn't work in here with clean data, but I think for us, most especially what I might validate as success that others might not validate as the learning. You know, we do a lot of things for educational purposes. People may not understand. Because for us is, okay, our industry is growing, but who are the players? If we can figure out what the players are, who are betting on the scene, who are doing different things within the scene. Like I told you, within the ecosystem, you are seeing new players. What can we learn? So we're beginning to learn about what is syncable that has not informed our strategy going into the future. If we didn't sign a deal like that, we will not know what's syncable, song arrangement, instrumental, clean edit. There's a bunch of things that I would say the first 1.5 years, and of course COVID has done its thing. A lot of movie production things were halted. Some of them music were already pre-agreed. So there's probably maybe a back catalog of pre-agreed music that the project has not been fully edited or wrapped up. So what I've valued so far has been the education. There've been some commercial returns here and there, but my guys will have a more cleaner. I look at sync returns as a holistic number. So, but the guys in there will know what's fueling their channel.
Lovely. So, considering Mavin's size and reputation in this market, one would expect that you would be poaching more mid-level artists, you know, like Buju, for example, instead of building new stars from scratch, as with Ayra Starr. You know, so I'm very impressed by that, by the way, and you've already sort of talked about it, you know. So man, it almost makes this question feel redundant. So is there a reason why we're not seeing more of those mid-level signings from the label?
Like I said, we've sort of found what works for us, you know, and like it again goes to the DNA of the founder. He's not only about those people that are out there that are winning. So for us, Buju's already doing great. He's already winning. Let's go where we can help. Just like you're in a restaurant, somebody's eating 3 square meal. Somebody don't chop only one. Somebody don't never chop. If you have 1 cup of rice, who will you give? The one never chop. So Buju is aiming. Things are looking up for him. Is on a path to discovery, more success for him. But then there are a bunch of talents on the streets that have not attained anything yet. And for us, that whole equation, I think also to us just knowing people earlier as well, before they form certain habits that might not work with us as a company long term. Because we're in a people business, right? So it's critical that we're able to, how will I best describe this? Connect as people without any, what's the best way to say it? Without any prior thoughts. So we were like clean slate, more like it. So we're not going to change any narrative for you in industry. We're not adding to any issues you had with anybody before. We're just bringing a new player into the market with a clean slate. I
Lovely.
think that's something that we found very interesting
Lovely,
for us.
lovely. In the last few years, we have seen serious democratization of content creation and consumption through social media, like we've never seen before. For instance, you can go on TikTok and easily spend 2 hours watching diverse content, and this is time you're not spending listening to music.
Mhm.
So, how is Mavin facing up to this new reality?
What is happening is happening. It was well anticipated from our perspective as a business. We're very forward thinkers. We believe in using some of these platforms to advance our music, marketing or discovery channels. So
Yeah.
for us, is yes, people can see it as reduction in music consumption. We see it as an opportunity to talk to a new audience that probably wouldn't have heard us before. So it's relative, depending on who. I don't think our catalog is suffering from reduce. I think we're getting year-on-year growth for our business. So rather we're seeing some viral moments
Yeah.
in territories you'll probably not have been able to get growth in terms of music listenership coming through some of this platform. And my free advice to any artist today is that the era of being a thoroughbred recording artist is long gone. You know, you have to be a music content creator to be able to survive in this climate, because the discovery and purchase channels have changed. So before, you probably run through what you might call a tripod situation where one is the radio,
Yeah.
one is the outlets that has the physical CD in their shops, and then one probably the distribution guy that takes the trucking with the music and submits it to all the shops. Now, what you have is some of the DSPs, if not all of them,
Yeah.
playing these three roles. They're the one that make sure their music is available in Germany. They have playlists. There's also like a media / radio thing, which I create some songs for you to listen to. And it's also the shop from, because now the degree of separation to listen to your music goes from that TikTok video that you saw right into Apple Shop. Whereas you have had to have heard a song on the radio and then go down the street and buy. So artists need to learn that they need to now redesign their approach to music making and marketing from a content curation perspective. Because truth be told, Saturday Night Life is great, but you can produce your own. 106 Park is dope. You can produce your own, because the platforms have made it possible that audience you're looking for is on suppose IG Live. The views some artists get, some US talents get on their one single post is some people's YouTube video live views. It's the same technology. So how you start seeing your Instagram as a sort of cake shop, where you come into that and say, okay, let's get them some strawberry flavored cake. Tomorrow I bring in some vanilla, I spice it up, put some carrots. That's the way artists should start seeing this platform. Rather than see them as destructive channels, they should actually see it as a window to democratize, as you mentioned, the music marketing process, and in the same vein, find new fans.
Man,
it's just the cold reality. It's just the cold reality.
One last place.
Okay, sure.
You need to go. Even I'm having so much fun with this. So one of the statements credited to you at the time Mavin received an undisclosed investment from Kupanda reads, and I quote, "With the resources and operational capacity Kupanda Holdings brings along with their investment, Mavin is now ready to grow our artist roster across the continent." So can you enlighten us on about the operational capacity Kupanda brings to Mavin, how it helps, and how is the artist expansion going?
So I think one thing that comes with anything whereby you've done it for so long is you would require a lot of precision to move. It's true. The bigger you come, most times you would face some sort of you will not be in a hurry to do so many things, because there's so much at stake. People's careers are at stake, finances are at stake, there are so many things that are at stake. And for us, using data, instincts, backed with experience and territorial potential partners has been something that we've been scanning and looking. And COVID has played a role that it played, not allowing us to try, because what we want to do is not something we can do over Zoom call, right? Some territories have language nuance, but we feel like we're learning something in Nigeria that should be replicable in other markets, but we don't want to be cocky and funny and say once we land there, we go begin make magic happen. No, this is what we know in Nigeria. That's why we're doing what we're doing here. So being able to scout a partner in the market that is doing what it's doing, I was like, hey, you know what, let's come to this market. We don't want it to come across as an invasion. It's not an invasion. It's an opportunity for us to collectively grow the continent's music that I strongly believe is as diverse as anything in the world. This continent of 1 billion plus people have a buffet of music, and we've seen it in our time. We've had the Makossa guys do their thing, the Ghana Hip Life do their thing. We're having Nigerian music, Afrobeat as we call ourselves. Amapiano. You know, so everybody is finding themselves. You have what them Bongo, them boys in the East Africa they are doing as well. Still signing international deals, still doing major performances. So the confidence we have is that there's an opportunity there to scale. And these guys might rely on some of the things we've learned. We might be relying on some of the things they've learned as well to perfect something for the market that, again, still goes back to the artist, that young guy in that country that has never been relevant in Ghana before, or Mali or Nigeria, might have a shot with Mavin coming into his country to collaborate with the local players to make that happen. Some things we also look as well is how the DSPs looking at the market, because they have serious data than ourselves. So if they're not moving mad there, maybe we should time ourselves in a way we can take the risk at a more interesting place than just walking blind, you know. So to that as sort of and then the COVID thing, not being able to travel and know people for who they are, you know, spend time with them before you commit money into the market and find out that they never wanted to do music business in the first place, right? So that's been to that one. For the operational one, my brother, you know, when we're doing this thing, people say, Tega, investor, be careful, this one, that one. And like I told you, the mindset of a learner, you know, there's something behind on Jazz's chair in the office that says show Shane, which is the beginner's mindset. When you wanted to do anything you wanted to do in life, you were so open to learning about that thing, right? Anything, bicycle, car, mathematics, anything, you name it. You had that openness to learn. And we've never lost it. At some point, maybe we felt some type of way, but I think now we've set up systems and processes around us that remind us that we're in a learning process. And Kupanda offered that opportunity to learn more about what we're doing, but at a higher stake and with higher resources. And one of those, what you might categorize as operational capacity, is being able to bring some of the expertise they have, having invested in so many companies around the world. So some best business practices that might not even have so much nuance to whether we're putting Maggie in the music or we're putting Onga, you know that it has, there's some of our best business practices. How do you hire? How do you train? How do you expand? How do you manage finances? How do you manage cash flow? Just a bunch of things that traditionally taking money from your savings to do might not give you that thoroughness that you require, you know, board meetings, advisory boards, consultancy, tax management, just a bunch of things that you would not necessarily think you would need.
Yeah.
But when your operations start getting bigger, you realize that, oh, you need that. And that was an expertise that they just put on the menu. And even before we closed the deal, they were already doing some pro bono things with us. They were already just leaning in, you know, the sense about, you might classify them as expatriate, maybe about 3 or 4 at different times to come spend time with us here in Lagos, understand what we're doing, help us filter through our business plan, tighten it, make sure that it's on point, the due diligence process. You know, a lady, shout out to Jordan Sleek, who actually dedicated a room to her in the office. She came in, you know, we built the whole culture, the hiring process, because I've always been screaming capacity. We need more people to do what we want to do. We need more people. And, you know, she came out here, stayed almost 2 years with us, you know, in Nigeria, an American lady, and just worked with us in traffic, in the field at Johnny Room's life, you know, just be with us. Them learning as well what we do, understanding their partner's strengths and weaknesses in the same vein, but being able to provide that operational capacity. So we, even Rema, as our director of A&R, used to be at Kupanda. She was on deal side before until she moved to our side. And it's the same, what she figured herself in the process and the experience of building and the empathy required. It's how we felt that increase in operational capacity, and we're forward in a manner that we feel that there's really nothing we can't achieve if we put our mind to it. So the ones we put our mind to, we're just watching those ones closely and making sure that what we said we would do, we do.
Is there something you want to plug before we go?
No. I'm like I said, I can't chat with my brother.
Yeah. Anything that's happening you want to quickly drop or something that's popping?
It's nothing. It's just for us. It's just work. We're just working. We really just working, and that's what motivates us. Knowing that if we do what we do well, the success will be felt by not just our team, but people within the ecosystem. You know, a photographer will get paid, a video director will get paid. So just knowing the amount of impact we can make if we get things right. You know, young people, we've launched the management division within the business. We're doing some interesting things potentially with Film One. So just knowing what we can now become, the more we attain the growth that we've attained, just really keeps us extremely excited and allows us to swallow all the bitter pills that come with building something like this.
Of course, Stream 19 and
19
and Dangerous. Whoa, that's true.
Market.
That's true.
See, everything now with the shade market.
Man,
so everything
Tega.
like day for us. So
Every market day, every
day now with the shade.
Man, thank you so much for
No
sharing
worry,
your
brothers.
insights, for your time, for your experience. Thank you. I know you guys are going to get some more wins. I know you guys are going to do more amazing things. Thank you for the football insight. I feel like I know more about football just after this chat. And
But it's one industry that I respect so much.
are you buying a team? Are you
I
diversifying
would
into
love
that?
in the future, if I have what God has assigned to me, I would love to buy a football club in the future.
Boom.
I like the idea of sporting teams. Like it's the closest thing that helps me understand the potential of what we're doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tega. Thank you very much.
brothers.
Thank you.
This was
Thank
good.
you.
This was
Thank
good.
you. Appreciate you. Guys, thank you so much for listening. And I do hope that you have found this episode as useful as I have. Please hit the like button, share, and leave a comment on our page to help this podcast touch as many lives as possible. Keep listening.